Welcome, 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 everyone. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm so excited to see all of our community here today. Thank you. I'm just going to wait for everyone to gather up here to settle in a little. Hello, my name is Angelina.
Hello, everyone. My name is Rachel Aboa.
Hello, everybody. My name is Aniwe Machik.
Hey, everyone. My name is Wes.
My name is Joseph Luis. I love being called Joe the Guy.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jamal Abigaz.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. We are the organizers of the protest, and we're also the leaders and administrators of the Facebook page, North Dakota Stand for Change. So we welcome you all here. Before we get started, we have a special song that we want to welcome the crowd in with. And okay, we have some musicians here. Their names are Alexis Gustafson, Gina Powers, and Genevieve Ingabira.
You're broken down and tired of living life on a merry-go-round, and you can't find the fighter, but I see it in you, so we're gonna walk it out and move mountains. We're gonna walk it out and move mountains. And I'll rise like the day, and I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. I'll rise up high like the waves, I'll rise up in spite of the ache, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you, for you.
When the silence isn't quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. Too many people dying. I promise you will bring the world to its feet and move mountains. Bring it to its feet and move mountains. And I'll rise up high like the waves. I'll rise up in spite of the ache. I'll rise up and do it 1,000 times again. For you, for that we have each other. Yeah, we have each other.
We will rise, we will rise, we will rise. Oh, oh, and I'll rise up, rise like the day, and I'll rise up.
We will rise. Sister, I got you. We will rise. Yes, we will. And we'll rise up. Out of the days, we'll rise up. In spite of the ache,
We'll rise up.
do it 1,000 times again. Yes, we will. For you.
You, for you, for you.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much. That was beautiful. So before we proceed with our program here, I'll be calling on Willard Yellowbird to do a prayer for us.
Hi, my name is Willard Yellowbird. My traditional name is Bearshield. I'm a Rikara Hadatsa from the Fort Berthold Reservation, and I'm one of the spiritual leaders in this area or from my reservation back home. And I was happy to be here to do the opening prayers. Here you go. To all my relatives and friends, today we are praying in our own way for all our people of all our color. We were taught that we were the caretakers of Mother Earth and we must stand together as one soul, one spirit, and one voice. Today I offer this prayer to all who can't be here today, but who are here in the Spirit. As we pray today, this prayer together, we all become as one voice in the Spirit. A French philosopher once said, "We are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We're spiritual beings having a human experience." If you look around, look at the different colors of our people, of our races. Do you realize that when we all cross over to the spirit world, there's no color? We're all holy energy in that spirit world. Just on earth, we see the different colors. That's because our spiritual energy of our spirit that comes from the Creator or God is not strong to overcome the difficulties of the body. Our body is the one that makes us feel that hatred. Not our spirit. Our spirit is a holy entity, just like our soul. Creator, whose voice we hear in the wind, whose breath gives us life to all the world. Hear us, for we need your strength and wisdom. Let us walk in your beauty and make our eyes behold the red and purple sunset. Make our hands respect the things that you have made, and our ears sharp to hear your voice. Make us wise so that we may understand the things that you have taught us. Creator, hear us, for we are all your children. We come from the four directions of Mother Earth throughout the world today. We ask our ancestors to find us and stand with us in prayer, to feel our tears, and to witness our prayers for our people. Creator, we thank you for the lessons that you have taught us in patience, generosity, compassion, and the love for one another. You have taught us to feel your warmth, healing, and love in the spirit of the universe. Creator, have pity on us. Stand beside us once again. It was said, when we pray as one soul, one spirit, and one voice, you stand with us. Creator, we come from the different spiritual paths, but we all end up on your sacred road, and that's to help our people. Today we have concerns for our people, and we ask ourselves, how could we bring harmony to all the people, to have hope, to be kind, gentle, patient, and humble? Creator, what we have learned in these past few days, that the more we become aware of the spiritual relationships to you, the greater need is the ability to help. But still the greater need is the responsibility to help our people. Creator, what is seen here today are brothers and sisters who are all on a spiritual journey. Some paths are worn, some paths are new. But we all come and follow your sacred road to help our people. Creator, please give us the strength and the blessings to use our talent on how to deal with this changing world in a good way. Let our growth here today embrace our social vision and our mission to understand the journey of all our people who are all living in this changing world. There are tough times ahead, Creator, but give us the strength and the courage and the wisdom and the understanding to help your children make it through the struggles and to send our spiritual strength to all the people. Holy Father, above, we bow down to you. You alone are holy. You own everything in this whole world. You are chief over all. I thank you for listening to our prayer and standing beside us once again. I'm asking you this day to give us your blessing and watch over all my relatives, friends, and people today and all days, and to keep them safe. I ask that you heal their soul, heal their spirit, heal their body. We humble ourselves to you. Bless us today and all days. Today, I ask your blessing to give us your spiritual strength, so then when we leave here today, we will demonstrate our leadership and character to all people to show our spiritual strength at its finest. Amen. Aho.
If you brought your flowers with you today, can you please hold it up for me? If you brought more than one flowers, if you can share it with your neighbor.
We ask that
Cut
you
it up,
a piece
break it up.
and you give it to your neighbor, someone that does not look like you. We'll give you guys a moment to do this peacefully, please.
I would like a flower. I shared mine already.
There's a lot, as a group of women just sitting here waiting for someone to bring them flowers, right in the front. Those lovely women right there.
Oh, you want to talk about it? Yeah. I think this is big. Let's stand for the flower first. Anyway.
Today's Breonna Taylor birthday. As they look at this flower, this is a reminder to always blossom and reach out. Yeah. She's
Anyway. Oh, okay.
okay. As people still share the flowers with each and every one of us, I ask you to please raise up your flower. This flower is a monument and a representation of today is Breonna Taylor's birthday, and also the celebration of life that took place yesterday as they laid Mr. George to rest. As you guys look at the flowers that is in your hand today, we want it to be a representation to always blossom out and reach out to your neighbor. Okay. This flower is a representation to always reach out to your neighbors and ask them how are they doing, regardless on how they look, what background they come from, and what religion that they share. We ask that you look at this flower and remind yourself of the change that you want to remain. A flower dies in the winter and springs back up in the springtime, always waiting to share its roots with others. Let's be a representation with that. This flower is a hope in Fargo Moorhead that change will come. We're not hoping for change to come. We know that change will come because we can no longer sit back. Remember this flower in your hand in this day as a representation of a milestone that we will do as a community to lead as an example for the nation that if we can overcome our racism that is in this community, anybody else can. Reach out to your neighbor, love on your neighbor, respect your neighbor, and above all, love them beyond any type of desire of your own. I want everybody to wish Breonna Taylor happy birthday on 3. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday, Breonna Taylor. Woo. Thank you guys so much for coming. And please remember to always remind yourself and hold yourself up to a higher standard, to reach out and share love into the universe. Thank you, guys. Oh. And then I'm next.
All right. Thank you for that. Next, we'll be calling on Joseph Lewis. Joseph is a student at MSUM. Thank you.
I can use your phone too a little bit. We have heard the saying, all cops are not bad. We have all heard the saying that in fact, there are only a few bad apples. Honestly, as a black man living in America at this current moment, my question always is, how do I know the one approaching me is not one of the bad ones? As diverse as we pride ourselves as a community today, I simply ask a simple question. Why aren't there many black cops as our white cops? This line of question, of course, we do know and acknowledge that demand answers from our leaders, both nationally and locally. And that is part of the reasons why we are here today. The reason for this gathering today is to continue to have conversation and demand social justice for the murder of George Floyd. The reason we are here today is that the level of mistrust in leadership and law enforcement has gone too far. The reason we are here today is that this is an issue that affects all of us. Looking out at the crowd today and seeing the diversity of support proves that abuse of power and trust impact our lives collectively. The reason we are here today is to celebrate a victory. A victory because we have managed successfully to petition our local leaders to initiate a dialogue about this unfair system that has time without numbers, marginalized people who look like me. To our local leaders, we are pleased to have your attention. But it should be made clear here that we are not interested in your fancy suit, neither your political speeches. We invite you here today because we have real issue. And you should listen. We have had the need of systemic oppression on our neck for too long. If you cannot feel our pain or stand in this with us, we do not want your pretense. Last Sunday, the city of Fargo held a press conference to address the unlawful protest and destruction of property. I do not understand the policies, procedures, and manner of law officials. Obviously, I'm new to the United States, right? But no one member of law enforcement or leaders reached out or contacted us about this press briefing. No one invited our voice to be heard at the Fargo Press last Sunday. Thank God Jonathan George was invited. Otherwise, George Floyd's name would not have been mentioned for once. George Floyd died begging for his life and asking for his mama, why 4 police officers murdered him. This was entirely lost during last Sunday's conference. Mayor George was the only member of the press conference there who mentioned why the protest even existed in Fargo or took place in Fargo. Why is that? Mr. Politician, if you are with us, Mr. Politician, are you with us? Because where I am from, if one member of society is hurt and feels unsafe, we sit and listen. We sympathize. We reach out. We don't remind them about our bad businesses. We don't remind them about our GDP, how bad and deplorable it is. Unfortunately, what do I know? This is the everyday reality I have seen in the United States. As a student here in our local community, I'm witnessing words taking on new meanings right before my eyes every day. Ambiguous words are being used to create a narrative and context. For many in today's world, difference means dangerous. We need to know our police department beyond empty words and Facebook photos. We need to see actions from our local leaders when all voices are needed at the table. Morehead Mayor Jonathan Jew has said that this is going to be longer than 5 years project. He is correct. Let us look at the gathering. Let us look at this gathering as a fresh start to building a culture of love, tolerance, justice, equality, and equal representation at all levels. Martin Luther King said, "We must all learn to live together as brothers, or we will all perish together as fools." I am proud of how far we have come as a community, but it should not be lost on us that we still have a long way to go. We are here today because of love. So many of us standing together have never met each other or seen each other before. I can't even remember how many people have said hi to me. I don't know. And I'm very terrible at names, by the way, so keep it up. We are in the middle of a pandemic, and yet we choose to come out to promote love and peace. That's what defines us. In conclusion, Black Lives Matter stands here today for everyone who has been on the receiving end of police abuse, be it physical, emotional, psychological. We stand up here today for everyone who feels they do not have a voice against the broken system. We stand up here today for all those who understand what it means to be arrested for simply driving white, black, or brown. We stand up here today for every white person who has felt the abuse of the system. Till we reach that point where everyone feels safe, everyone is treated equally, then we can successfully say all lives matter. We choose to stand for all this. We choose to stand for all this because injustice to anyone is injustice to everyone. Thank you. And just in case you nap or you did not, for the sake of my Liberian accent, understand anything I said, just take this quotation, please, from me. Know that the earth is but one country, and we are all its citizens. Thank you. Did I exceed?
That was powerful. It's okay. I have it. Here, I have it in my phone. Yeah. That was very powerful, Joseph. Thank you for that. Can you all clap for him one more time?
At this time, we ask that everybody please take a knee with your fist in the air to represent the Black Lives Matter, please. Oh, yes. Look at the law. Anyway, come up here. Can somebody get that moment right there? Would love for somebody, a photographer, to come up and just capture this moment right here, please.
All photographers, actually.
I don't think we can fit everybody, but if we could capture this moment. So turn your camera towards this area. On the count of 3, we will give our moment of silence to Mr. George Floyd. 1, 2, 3. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Thank you guys so much. No problem.
Thank you for inviting us up here.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. And now we'll be calling on Jamal. Please help me pronounce your last name.
Abigaz.
Abigaz. Jamal Abigaz.
All right. Thank you. My name is Jamal Abigaz. I am here as a member of the Red River Valley Democratic Socialists of America. I'm more than happy to work with the organizers for the Fargo marches for George Floyd here and the group that runs North Dakota Stand for Change. So here I am today, and I get the honor of reading the list of demands that was accepted by Mayors Mahoney, Judd, and Dardis. So I'll just go ahead and begin here. We are here to hold our elected officials accountable for the demands that they have agreed to meet. We are here to ensure that all of our public servants fully meet their commitment to serving the community. Now, these were drafted prior to events which we all know have been changing rapidly here. Our first demand was for Mayors Mahoney, Judd, and Dardis to call for the remaining 3 officers responsible for George Floyd's murder to be arrested and charged. We've also called for the institution of police oversight boards to be liaising with the public, with no police on the boards, but we invite elected city commissioners to participate. We are calling for equal representation for minorities on local city boards, with specificity, those boards related to housing, health, and public safety, and education. We are calling for increased education prior to the hiring of new police officers. Specifically, Specifically, a requirement that new hires have completed 16 to 20 hours and or a minor from an accredited university in an area of study related to cultural diversity, relevant to the racial and ethnic demographics of each of the cities. We are calling for improved psychological testing of new police officers and of officers seeking promotions to scrutinize and remove racists from the police forces and to stop them from being rewarded with higher positions within those police forces. And we are also calling on the cities to engage in education for new Americans coming to the community, to inform them of the laws and the resources which they can expect to find in our Fargo-Moorhead communities. We also included demands of the police in their treatment of protesters. No, thank you. Thank you. Immediately commit the police forces to using exclusively nonviolent de-escalation tactics with protesters. To stop using tear gas, rubber bullets, and warning shots to terrorize protesters. To use tactics which recognize and respect the right to nonviolent protest, including releasing protesters with appropriate consequences for those who simply make being arrested a goal of their civil disobedience, in line with the nonviolent ideologies of past movements for civil rights. And we have also called for the cessation of surveilling activists and elected officials in the Fargo-Moorhead community. These policy changes are only a first step to remediating hundreds of years of systematic injustice as a matter of public policy. The people must and will work together to keep their officials on track to meet these goals. This list represents a working list of demands and is representative of the beginning of a solid working relationship with our elected officials, and we thank them for it. All right, and that wraps it up for me, everybody. Thank you very much again for coming.
Thank you so much, Jamal. That was beautiful. Thank you so much, Jamal. Okay, and one of our organizers will be up here to speak. And this organizer, actually, she's running for city commissioner in Fargo, North Dakota. I'm going to welcome up Rochelle Oboa.
I just want to say I am so proud of my community right now. And one more hands of applause. There are so many people doubting us, but look around. We have taken not just a little step, this is a giant step. One more, we gotta. Let the FM area be a reflection of what the best to come and representing the U.S. Let us be the lead innovators of a great change to come. as I start today, I definitely want to say thank you guys for coming out and supporting us. From day one, those who was privileged and those who have had a voice have reached down their hands and helped us oppress Black people and indigenous people up on the pedestal. And we say thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. Although this is a great success for our Black community, this is also a great success for our white community, because we are one step closer to teaching our kids that we do not see color, but we see a unity in community. As we post this week, I reflected on the protests, the riots, I will mention that, and the protest then turned into a celebration today. I know a bunch of you came here with your own concern on, is this change really gonna happen? Is this change really gonna happen? And it's up to us to hold our law officials accountable for this change. And it's also up to us to change our mindset. Change can only be implemented if we start looking forward to that change. We no longer can sit there and say, well, last time this happened, no change came. Last time we was not united like this, so no change came. This goes to show that the people are the true foundation of what they govern. So when we speak for justice, they have to listen. When we speak for change, they have to listen. And when we show that we will not back down, they have to listen. Like I said, it is about time we show and we make our law officials and decision makers accountable for each and every action moving forward. We will not be silenced, nor will we sit there in the eyes of injustice. And Fargo have shown that. It is also up to us not to just hold the law official accountable, but businesses. We have now monitor these large businesses such as the group homes, Bethany, Eventide, and so many others. Also, Stanford, Essential, and so many others, and other group homes and other factory jobs, and they have not spoken out. And in our eyes, in 2020, a silent voice is a voice that is okay with the injustice that is going on. Majority of these large corporations, such as Window Integrity, have a high base of immigrants that work with these companies, and high immigrants that work with housekeeping and helping with contributing and helping with our community each and every day. And for them not to talk, doing this monumental movement, doing this historical movement, we will not stand for it. Because we cannot take any type of injustice, not into our society nor into our workplace. So we ask them to speak up for justice. It may not be happening into our neighborhood, but it is implemented when they don't speak up. And they need to be held accountable as well. Let your voice be heard at the workplace when you see your black coworkers is treated unfairly. When they have worked years at a company and then someone comes and bring in a white man and they have to train that white man and get the position, and ultimately they will be the ones to get the position that they worked so hard for. We ask that you guys please speak up. There is so many injustice that is happening in our community, not just in the judicial system. This fight do not end when we leave the park, nor does it end when you enter your house. Racism don't go away just because we have brought it off into the table and up front. This is a collective effort that each and every day we have to wake up and put in our mental mind that today I will be the change that I want to reflect. Today I will be the change that I do not want my child to face every single day. When we sat down with our elected official with the list of demands, and when we came back to the public and said this was a celebration, we got a lot of pushback, like I mentioned earlier. And I understood what the pushback was. But let me make this perfectly clear to every single one of you. When we did the protest, it was to get on the table to speak with these people. And we are at this table today. Let's put that on the table so everybody is aware of that. Our voice will not be silent. We will not be complicit. We will not forget our agenda and the main reason that we walked that 13 miles on Saturday, blisters and all. But we will work as a unity group with our elected official because we want positive change. And we want to be the community that models equality and not division. And sitting with these fine people today and hearing their background stories made that happen today. And we will celebrate today and every other day until the goal is met, until you and your community see the physical change and not just talking about it. I want you guys to give yourself a hand of applause one more time because, God damn it, we are here. We are here, people. We are at the table. We are at the table now. We are at the table now. What do you guys want to say now? They are listening. They are listening. This is the time to change the system. And it can only start from our backyard. And they understand that. And that's why they're here today. This is not to play nice, but this is for a long-lasting change. And we will be all held accountable for our each individual part. And I tell you guys, thank you. Thank you to the chief that is here. He has worked so hard. And I want to acknowledge him. Sometimes we get so carried away with the bad apple that do fall off the tree that we forget to tell those who have worked hard to protect us and has worked hard to show that they do not want injustice for our people. And Mr. Chief, I will say you have shown that tremendously. As you leave today, hug a neighbor that you have never met. Understand their struggle. Oh, do not hug your neighbor. Virtual hug your neighbor and love on them and protect them. We are a community and we will not be bullied, but we will stand together. Equality and Black Life Matters. 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 Thank you so much to my beautiful community.
All right, we have one of the representatives in the House, well, at the park, at the park today. I'm going to welcome Madam Ruth Buffalo.
Hello, Fargo. Nido Shadzi, Nakbaga O, Madashi, Mia Adasheds, Ma Be Sigids, Ma Zigidads, Nakbaga O. Hello, good people. My name is Ruth Buffalo. I carry my late grandmother Ruth's Hidadza name, Woman Appears. And it's an honor to be here with you today, and I'll keep my comments brief because I want to share the mic with these wonderful women behind me who are pushing so hard for the change that we all deserve. Let's give them a round of applause, please. I will say, yes, it's a good reminder that in the midst of tragedy, we are in a pandemic. We are in a pandemic, and we know that certain populations are more susceptible to dying from the pandemic, and we have lost so many good people as a result of this pandemic. So I also want to acknowledge the mourners at this time. I also want to acknowledge the mourners of the police officer who lost his life in Grand Forks. I also want to acknowledge the 2 Air Force people in Grand Forks who lost their lives recently. So it's so important that we acknowledge our mourners because there is so much pain right now and suffering. People are dying. And Jeremy Kelly, yes. Okay. So the purpose of coming here today is to prevent further lives from being lost. Like this medallion that I'm wearing, it has red, yellow, black, and white. And our teachings tell us that we are all related. We are connected. We are connected to this land that we stand on. Island Park has a very cultural, spiritual significance to a lot of Indigenous people. And it's important that we acknowledge the land that we're standing on to that end. The land of the Anishinaabe people, the Dakota people, and the Mandan and Hidatsa who also roam this area, the Lakota people. And we mustn't forget, because until we come to terms with our true history, we will end violence. We will stop repeating a history that many of us have survived from. And we are all survivors. Every single one of us standing here today are survivors. All of us are survivors. So give yourselves a round of applause. We have to work together. We have to work together. So with that, I'm going to end my comments and turn it over to these wonderful women behind me. But I want to say, let's not repeat history. Let's do better. And it starts individually within each one of us. Each one of us has a personal responsibility to keep ourselves safe during this pandemic. But I would also like you to think of that in terms of race relations. We each have a personal responsibility to educate ourselves, educate each other, have those uncomfortable conversations, dig deep through those uncomfortable truths, and come out stronger than ever. Maadzagidad's good people, thank you.
Bonjour, everybody. My name is Tracy L. Wilkie, Wabishki Gawiden Ikwe, which means White North Wind Woman. This is the ancestral home of my people. Welcome. I'm also a candidate for District 16 House of Representatives. July 6th of 2018, I stopped my job of 20 years working in the criminal justice system in Portland, Oregon, I joke saying that I wanted to figure out what I wanted to do when I grow up, and now I'm back home in politics. It seems weird. I was born in Fargo 52 years ago, but I was raised on the Turtle Mountain Reservation. But I know who I am, and I know my purpose, and I'm here to make a change. As my sister said, we must work together. We are all in this together. We must work together because we can't continue on the way things were within the criminal justice system and the rape of our Mother Earth and our women and man camps and all of that. We can't have that because when we know better, we do better. I believe that's Maya Angelou. There's a little bit more that goes to it, but you know what I mean. And on that note, I will pass the mic on to my sister.
Hello, my name is Heather Keeler. I sit on the Human Rights Commission for Moorhead, and I'm also a candidate for the Minnesota House 4A. I think, like many of you, I grew up in a world that I didn't see people who looked like me in roles of leadership. I didn't see that in my law enforcement, I didn't see that in my teachers, I didn't see that in the bankers, I didn't see that anywhere, and subliminally that told me I didn't belong there. So when this seat opened up, and I thought, should I do it, should I do it, should I not do it? I looked across the river and I saw, well, Ruth did it. I might as well try. But I believe that it takes us working together. We have to collaborate to make a change, and we have to truly understand our community. We have to hear each other with open hearts and open minds, and we have to hold each other accountable. It's one thing to just sit here and listen, but we have to continue with action. We have to have leaders that look like us. So I'm telling you, if there is even a thought in your mind, run. Run for something. Run for school board. Run for city council. Run for state levels. Run for national levels. There is no boundaries. We belong here. We need decision makers who make decisions through our lens of life. I am so proud of this community. I am proud of the class that we have had in the middle of anger and hurt and frustration. And I think that the communities around us are watching us, and they're looking up to us, and I am extremely proud of the organizers and the work that you all have done and the voices that you've had. These changes will impact our next generations. Our kids deserve to be seen. My kid deserves to ride his bike, to play basketball, and not worry about a thing. So I thank you all. Get involved, ask the tough questions, and hold each other accountable in a space of love and compassion, and we will make a huge difference together.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tanya Redroad. My spirit name is Badabanaque, which means early morning light. I guess the only thing I really want to say, I want to say thank you for everybody coming out and showing up, and I want to thank everybody who, when I put the call out, I was kind of having a hard time, and I will tell you, as a family who has a lot of mixtures and blends in our family. I mean, I'm Native American, African American, Irish. I mean, I don't get to be prejudiced. I'm sorry. So when I think of my children, they're looking at me for that guidance, and I don't know what to tell them because I don't want them to hate any part of themselves. I want them to love every part of themselves because you know what? That was love. Our ancestors, they came together, and I think about some people who maybe are, over the years, would probably get in a, they got a lot of grief for mixing. And so I think that it's a pretty good love story when I hear all of the blending and all the ways it came together for us when we came to a lot of different blends. So I think for me and my children, I think of them the most. I just think how much they're watching. Our kids are watching us. Let's show them that we can come together because I don't want anybody to feel a part of themselves is wrong. Matt's my baby out there. And then I just also want to say thank you for all these jingle dress dancers for showing up and coming out. Well, and just the Native community. I know so many are kind of wondering how they could show their support and solidarity, and they did. They showed up. They said, yes, absolutely, we want to do this. So I want to give a big shout out to our jingle dress dancers. It's a dance of healing, and I want them to be recognized. And with that, I will just say Black Lives Matter. Miigwech.
Buju, Babi Tui Gijik Ukwe, Indigenous Kaz. My name is Amber Matson, and my spirit name is Between the Sky Woman. I wasn't planning on saying anything today, but I am absolutely just loving all these beautiful faces here. I want to say that you guys are all amazing. And on piggybacking on what everyone else has also said, my grandmother, I watched her my whole life, and she fought for so many injustices in this community, and it's just beautiful to see so many other people bringing light to bringing our community together, being unified, trying to understand everybody's differences or even similarities, and just loving one another. Love is such a great thing. My grandmother was Gladys Ray, who a lot of people maybe have heard of her. She was a beautiful, beautiful soul, and she's just shining down right now at all of us. I just also want to say that I'm glad to be here as one of the Jingle Dress dancers. We're all here to offer healing and support, but we're also, when we dance, we also are communicating with our ancestors that have gone before us. They are all coming down with us, and they will all be here with us in this moment. So I just want to say thank you, everybody, and you're all beautiful.
Blessed are the peacemakers. Madzigidads.
As we can see, we all look so colorful today. This isn't just a Black Lives Matter movement or Black people problem. This is not just a white people problem or a Native American people problem. It's all of our problem. If it affects one person, it's going to affect all of us. We must all stand in unity to make our home, our place, our city, our community safe. Because we organized this program, I didn't want to just focus on the police, on the justice system. I wanted to reach out to the educational system. I wanted to touch base. I'm a student. I've been in elementary, middle school, high school, college, and I've been through it. And I couldn't sit knowing that I have nieces, nephews, brothers and sisters. I wanted to reach out to someone that would speak and give a testimony of how it's like working with minority, Black people, different people. And I was able to reach out to the great Sarah Madani. She's the 2020 Teacher of the Year. If we can just welcome her together. I'm sorry if I pronounced your last name wrong. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. We can hug. Hello, Fargo. These might be the most important words I ever say. As 2020 North Dakota Teacher of the Year, I made a promise to be an advocate and spokesperson for teachers and students. Are there any teachers here today? Are there some students here today? I'm here today at the Black Lives Matter protest, celebration, because it is my responsibility to use my voice for our black and brown students. As an educator, I'm sick and heartbroken over the senseless, tragic deaths because of the color of a person's skin. I do not pretend to know what black people experience, but I do know that we need to spark critical reflection and honest, ongoing conversations in our schools and communities. With our increasingly diverse population in North Dakota, we need to continue to work tirelessly to foster inclusion and awareness, to help prepare our North Dakota students to thrive in a diverse world and embrace those different from themselves. Our children, where are you children in the group? Our children are watching us. They need us. They need to see us making a conscious effort every single day to become the change, to listen, to learn, to act, to love. George Floyd. Say his name with me. George Floyd. George Floyd was a son, a brother, a dad, a friend, and he was a former student. No teacher ever wants to hear about the senseless, tragic death of a precious student because of the color of their skin. It's heartbreaking. George Floyd's life mattered. Every black life matters. The responsibility for closing the cultural gap in our country lies in the hands of all of us: schools, parents, young people, and community members. I have an amazing opportunity of teaching at a school rich with students of diversity. I will never forget a day a few years ago. I was reading a book to students that had a black person as the central character, and we know those books are few and far between. As I was reading, a student's eyes lit up with joy. He looked at me with great excitement and said, "Mrs. M, that boy looks just like me." Unfortunately, there aren't as many children's books that feature black characters as there should be. We need to be intentional about filling our libraries with diverse children's books
so our black and brown students can see themselves on the pages. When kids see characters who look like them in books, they feel empowered and believe they can fulfill their dreams. Every student walks into the classroom with a dream. As teachers, it's our job to engage with students, to get to the core of their stories and be empathetic advocates for them and their cultures. We need to use our voices to amplify and uplift students who have been sidelined because of their color. We need to be celebrating and embracing diversity. This time in America has been scary, uncomfortable, heartbreaking, raw. This is a moment that we need to be relentless in order to move forward and make changes. We need to be accountable and we need to commit. There is so much work to be done in this big, beautiful world of ours. Posting on social media is a start. Wearing Black Lives Matter shirts is a start. Educating ourselves is a start. Peaceful protesting is a start. Having tough conversations with families and friends is a start. Fighting for social justice for students of color is a start. We simply cannot start with all of those things and then tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, forget about what we started. We must remain vigilant in our actions for systemic change. We must work together to ensure our North Dakota schools are built on social and racial justice. We must make sure they're built on social and racial justice, love, joy, and anti-racism. We must continue to come together like we are today, to peacefully protest, to virtually hug, or real hug, we gave a real hug, to cry, to listen. Students, I love my students, and I don't want any of my black or brown students to die like George Floyd and so many others. I don't want them to die because of the color of their skin. We need to use our voices now more than ever and lead this movement with empathy, compassion, and love. Because Black Lives Matter. Say it with me. Black Lives Matter. Thank you.
Go ahead. No. Thank you so much, Sarah. We'll go ahead and call on Mayor Jude. And he's the mayor of Moorhead, Minnesota.
And it's Mayor Judd. We're sorry for
Mayor Judd. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Before I speak, I will just say again, my name is Jonathan Judd, mayor of the great city of Moorhead. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I also like to acknowledge that we are standing upon indigenous land. Woo! Well, for most of y'all heard me take that pause last Sunday morning because I wasn't sure how it was going to come out, but I knew it had to be said. So, briefly, this is part 2 of what I stated or began to talk about on Sunday morning. So, what does allyship look like? I want to follow up on Sister Sarah because she really segued into what I thought needed to be talked about. Now, what does allyship look like when we have and we know and we've been talking about for so many years the issues within our communities of color and the disparities in the treatment by those institutions within those communities? We all know it. We've all been talking about it, and now it's time for action. What does action look like? That's the big question, because we have a variety of opinions about what that action should look like. But here's the deal. Conversations are great as long as you're listening and you're not trying to talk over the other person. An acknowledgement of other people who don't look like you and their realities is the first start. Listening with humility. Being able to listen and instead of making an excuse for why that person feels that way, maybe acknowledge the fact that they might know what they're talking about. But part of that also, that mutual allyship also begins with a self-examination of how you play into the part of why that person might feel that way or have that experience. Now, media, I know you're recording me, so make sure you include this with it. Tell the whole story. Now, what that means is this is not meant for you to feel guilty, because institutional racism is deeper than that. We didn't ask for this, but we all play into it. And that's a deeper, small group conversation in a safe space where we can explain that more and more thoroughly, okay? But also what you can do in the short term, because I don't want to be up here too long because we got some other people that need to speak too to their truth. But what you need to look at is this. And I'm going to go back to the media for a second because my brother Wes talked about this, and I'm going to say it for him because I've got that voice to do that. When you start reporting on individuals of color, you got to be careful of how you do that. There are good, well-intentioned people in this community that easily may get inflamed by how you spin a story and the pictures you put in that paper. To the educators that are here today, blessed to have you here and thank you for being here. But you also need to use your influence within that institution to start challenging the curriculum and closing those educational disparity gaps that we know exist. To the leaders and the mayors, the positive thing that got out of that meeting is now we're going to be held accountable for the policies that we create. And we have that power to guide policy to make our communities more responsible to those disadvantaged communities that might not have had that voice. And I accept that challenge. But for all of you, I cannot do it alone. The mayors cannot do it alone. You have to be able to speak your truth, and we will listen to you, and we will place value in your story. To law enforcement, this is an excellent opportunity for us to be creative in how we connect and build relationships with the communities that exist within our cities. We heard you. We're going to look at innovative ways to increase the diversity, not only within the city and our administration, but within our law enforcement realms. We will. We're going to build those relationships and hold us accountable when we don't. That's how you get your power and you strategically work your plan. And final, I will tell you this. In the upper Midwest, because my wife's from the upper Midwest, we have a hard time communicating, okay? And that's okay. We gonna work with you on that, okay? Where I'm from in my family, we just say it, and we deal with it, and we work through it, and we build and move on. We cannot let these conversations take place with this passive aggressiveness. That has got to stop. We will do this together. We will do this as a region. We will do this as a community. God bless each and every one of you. Thank you for being here. And hey, Black Lives Matter, right?
Thank you very much, Mayor. And now we'll call on Mayor Mahoney. Please welcome him. He's the mayor of Fargo. Okay, one more thing. We do have drinks and food and snacks back there. It's free. So please help yourself.
It's always hard to speak after a preacher when Mayor Judd talks. He's got it. I want Angelina, Anaway, I want Rebecca and Wes here. I'm sorry, Rachel, sorry. I got me nervous. You know, a week ago we had some things we wanted to get out and express and talk about. And when we talk about where are the leaders, where are the people that you want to hear the voice from? Where are the people that can help us solve this problem of getting dialogue going, of getting people talking? I'm so tired of virtual reality. I just want to have people talk to me. Aren't you tired of emails and text and Facebook? Let's get together and talk. Let's have conversation. So when these four leaders sat in a room with me for 3 hours and talked, I finally got something. I finally got some reality of what is going on in our community. What are we missing? What are we supposed to see? The demands aren't hard when you look at them. The demands are asking for things that we all would want. But what we especially want is we want a voice. Let's have a voice in our community. Let us stand up and let us tell the things you need to tell the leaders to do. I asked legislators to come today. I asked leaders to come today. I asked the governor to come today. They want to listen. They want to know what you want done. Now the thing I want to thank George Floyd about, the thing I want to thank George Floyd about is he brought us together. We have never done anything like this that we did today. And when I asked Wes, we said, we want something we're proud of that the country can look at and know that Fargo, Moorhead, West Fargo is a community you want to live in, you're listened to, and you're hugged sometimes. Because we want to be an embracing community. We want to be the community people want to come and live because they know we love each other. And we had a meeting yesterday with the policemen, and they have children that they work with every day and try to make their lives better. And what they said is, we want to put love on you. We want to put love on you. And that's what this community needs to do. I agree with the arguments about the press. Why are we stirring up things? Why are we making people look worse? Let's make people work better. Let's get the good stories in our town. Let's embrace our good leaders. You know, Ruth Buffalo came to me a few years back and said, I'm going to be a leader. And I said, well, good. Doggone it, she did. She ran for representative and she won. You can do it. You can make it, and you can make a difference. So the one thing the four of us agreed with the mayors, with everybody, is this doesn't stop here. We are going to continue to work all through the summer, all through the fall. Because I feel like I'm in a desert and I'm looking for a glass of water because there was nobody coming to us and wanting to participate. Now we got people that want to participate. Now we got people that want to work with us. And we embrace that. All the mayors do. What a perfect time. We're picking a new police chief. We're going to ask for input. Help us pick a new police chief. Bernie Dardis is going to pick a new police chief. This is a time for change. What a great time for you to be here. And I'm sorry, but you're going to have to give me input. You're going to have to talk to me. You're going to have to come see an old guy in my little place, huh? So, the other thing I'm so proud of today, to the community and all the people that came here today, you showed the world we can do it right. I had trepidation getting up this morning, and we've all talked about this. We wanted a demonstration of peace and love and that we can get along. And I tell you, I could never be prouder than I am at this moment. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Mahoney. Up next, we'll be calling Mayor Dardis, and he's the mayor of West Fargo.
Thank
you, sir.
It's for you.
Oh, it's for me. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you, everyone, for being here. We are so pleased to see all of you. I hope in the future, when we have a gathering like this again, I can welcome you to West Fargo rather than Fargo. If you haven't figured out yet, Mayor Mahoney and I and Mayor Judd here, my buddy here, my bodyguard, we have a thing going where we're always teasing one another. This past week, we had a meeting with these great leaders that are here, Wes back here. And at one point in time, I caught a lot of hell from this lady and this gentleman. A lot of hell. I was embarrassed and I was humbled because they were right and I was wrong. This guy behind me, when you take a look at the two of us, you might wonder what the difference is. He wears a shorter sports coat than I do. But the reality of it is, his love for his community, his love for the people that look like him, my love for the people that look like me, and the people in our communities that are Moorhead residents or Fargo residents and West Fargo residents, we're all one. And we have to figure that part out. Our values, my values, Rachel's values, Wes's values, Jonathan's values, our values have to condemn racism. We have to. That's got to be in our inner soul. But we have to be compassionate with one another. We have to live with one another. And we have to love one another, which I've heard that word many times today. And that's the fact. So as we move forward, the city of West Fargo, my fellow commissioners, there's a number of them here today. The part I loved today was when I was walking in, I saw the Moorhead Superintendent of Schools here. I saw the Fargo Public Superintendent of Schools here, and I saw Beth Sleddy, our wonderful Superintendent of Schools in West Fargo. All three of them here. You have the Teacher of the Year that spoke just a few minutes ago. It starts at that age. I was with my grandson this morning. He's 7 years old. And he said to me, "Grandpa, where are you going?" He wanted me to take him fishing. And I said, "I'm going to a rally." And he said, "Well, what kind of rally is it?" He's 7 years old, smart kid. Of course, he's my grandson. But he wanted to know what type of meeting I was going to. We had the TV on. They were running a replay of George Floyd's funeral. So how does a grandfather explain to his grandson that I'm going there to honor a man that was tragically killed, to be among friends, that I can't be with him fishing? And I said, "This is more important, Harrison. I have to go see these people, and I have to talk to them." So again, the lesson of this week for me has been, I need to listen better. I need to listen more. I need to rely on friends like Jonathan and Mayor Mahoney. And together, West Fargo will be an equal partner. And as competitive as the three of us are, I'll try and be a half a step ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Dardis. And now one of our very own, as one of the organizers, we're going to welcome Wes. Thank you. Oh, you don't want my flowers?
I want to start by saying, let me get this a little higher. I want to start by saying, long live George Floyd. Happy birthday, Breonna Taylor. And justice for Ahmaud Arbery. I 100% agree that today should be a day of celebration. But make no mistakes that this will be done with a heavy heart. The weight of America can no longer continue to crush Black people as seen with George Floyd or even Eric Garner. People of color should no longer be forced to wake up to a new dose of trauma with each passing day. The time has come to turn a new page in our history. The time has come to dismantle the system where some are seen as better than others. I have a firm belief that in this life, when you achieve new heights, it either becomes your ceiling or it becomes your floor. Today is a new height in the history of not just Fargo, but of North Dakota, the place that I have called home for the last 14 years. So my question is, will today be North Dakota's ceiling, or will today be North Dakota's floor? Will we seek change, or will we seek comfort? Will we seek justice, or will we all be complicit to the injustice that has plagued the Black community, and will it continue? There has always been something special about this city. Small town Fargo that's never afraid of the big stage or the bright lights. Believe me when I tell you the world is watching. Believe me when I tell you that our youth is watching. What kind of message are we sending? The time to be intentional is now. On May 30th, a man most likely watching the protest online decided he would get in his car and that he would head towards the protest. That man would drive around a police barricade meant to protect the protesters. A brave young man stood in front of the car and tried to stop him. That man would accelerate and strike the brave young man, carrying him on the hood of his car for 3 blocks. The actions of this man is the definition of domestic terrorism. And this is not a part of my speech, but I gotta stop and say it. We have to call it what it is. We have to call it what it is. When white men terrorize, whether it's people of color, and a lot of times other white folks are caught in the line of fire as well, that's domestic terrorism. And they never call it that, but it needs to be given a name. We're not terrorized by people overseas as much as we are terrorized by white men at home. And that needs to be called out. The actions of this man is the definition of a hate crime. The actions of this man is the definition of attempted murder. That man's name is Michael Griffin. He's a Fargo resident. That man was not charged with any of those crimes. I want y'all to know that I'm going to make it my personal fight to see that those charges are upgraded. This is also not part of my speech, but there are people who say, oh, that's happening in Minneapolis. That's happening in California. That's happening in New York. That's happening in Texas. Let me burst your bubble really quick. That man could have bailed out already. I'm sure he did. He's having a beer right now after trying to take somebody's life. And so a black man has to pick up the baton and go and do the job of others who should be doing their job to seek justice for a man who looks like me again. I've heard from sources, they say, well, the reason why the charges are so light so far is because we have to prove intent. You got to be kidding me, man. The man drove past a police barricade, accelerated, struck a protester, kept him on the hood for 3 blocks, witnessed by police, and we still trying to prove intent. All right, back to my speech. The message condemning the rioting and looting downtown has been astounding. The silence in regards to Michael Griffin's actions has been resounding. I sat in a room and I asked, how many of y'all spoke about the riots downtown? A lot of them did. There was a whole press conference. Then I asked, raise your hand, and there was 20 plus people in the room, many elected officials, most of them were, all positions of power. How many of you released a statement or said a damn thing about what Michael Griffin did, which occurred before the riot? Not a single person raised their hand. And it wasn't just them in the room, but the media. His actions was just a small blurb. And so again, as you look with Ahmaud Arbery, if it ain't for the people to bring light to our plight, it's just not gonna happen. So again, I ask, what message are we sending as a community? Our local media forums have been a safe haven for people of hate. Their inaction in regards to hate speech that floods the comment sections have gone unchecked for far too long. And let me be clear, there is a huge difference between free speech and hate speech. So y'all cannot hide behind those walls any longer. I've made a cordial invitation to sit down with you guys and figure it out. And if that does not happen, I will work with the Chief Police, Todd, and our organizers and the people in the community, and we're going to show up to Fargo Forum, Valley News Live. We're going to show up to your doorstep. And you're going to pull you're going to pull your own cameras out, and you're going to record it live because we're not taking that anymore. It's unreasonable for people of color in this community to go on these pages and see 300-400 comments that are just despicable. It's not okay. It's not just on us to seek change in the community. As Rachel mentioned, it's up to the businesses. So it's not just the media, it's up to the businesses as well. We're going to be ready and willing to show up to your doorstep. And I made that clear. For anyone who's thinking that we cowered down and we turned our protest into something that's different, this, that, and the third, I let the mayors and everyone in that room know that if we don't get the change that we seek, we will be right back on these streets. I am calling on the powers that be to do more, to be intentional in their efforts to eradicate hate. to make it known that our city is a place of inclusivity that welcomes all people. The world is watching. How will you be viewed? The time for change is now. We need to be intentional in our efforts to not only seek justice, but to seek equality. To not only seek equality, but to seek unity. To not only seek unity, but to seek change. This effort will fail without the buy-in of the community. There are people that would love to see us fail. My hope is that there are an overwhelming amount of people who would love to see us succeed. History is being written as we speak. What will history say about you? In the past week, I've seen some people come together in unimaginable numbers. I've also seen our leaders come together in unimaginable ways. My hope is that our city can be a little light in a really dark world. I'm calling on the people of the Fargo, Moorhead, and West Fargo area to show unity during a time of division. Let us be the change that we want to see in the world. We are one. May our actions embody all that we want to see in the world. Thank you to Mayor Mahoney, thank you to Mayor Judd, and thank you to Mayor Dardis. I look forward to working with you to create meaningful change that betters our community. But first, we must start with the underserved and the unheard. And with that being said, long live George Floyd. Happy birthday, Breonna Taylor. Justice for Ahmaud Arbery. Black Lives Matter.
Buffalo Bell dancers, I'm sorry about that, no disrespect. Can you please give a warm welcome to the Buffalo dancers as they go ahead and perform?
Hello, everybody. I said, hello, everybody. Can I get a response? This day is a very good day for our community, the Fargo, Moorhead, and West Fargo areas. This demonstration, this time that we have here represents the black people. Black Lives Matter. Represents the Native people. Red Lives Matter. Many of you have heard names in the news. The name Downwind should ring a bell. There are many things that Native people suffer. Generations, hundreds of years of discriminations. Today we have things going on where men and women and children go missing. No answers. But things are changing. Things like this are helping those causes. I was asked to be here today to sing a song. And this song is the Jingle Dress song for healing. But before we sing that song, we're going to sing a prayer song. And before we go into that prayer song, I'm going to let my daughter, Alexa, tell the story of this dress.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alexa Gabbard. I go to MSUM. I am a cultural anthropology major, and I'm so happy to be here supporting everybody with the Black Lives Matter movement. I am here today to share a healing dance with you. This healing dance has helped the indigenous people for many years, so I hope that it can bring healing to everybody else. All of you that have seen all the things on the news, all these Black people that have been killed all the time, I really hope that this healing dance just speaks to you and helps you find healing. There's a story that goes along with this, and it kind of makes sense now with everything that's happening with the pandemic. So there was a sickness, and this little girl, she was so sick, and her grandfather prayed, and that night spirits came to him in his dreams, and it told him to go to the women of his tribe and have this dress, make them make this dress, and if you dance with this little girl, she will be healed, and she was. So the Anishinaabe people, they healed people with this dress, and now I hope we can share it all with you. Thank you. Miigwech, Pidamia.
As we sing this prayer song, if you can, please stand. I want to ask Sandra Berlin to say a little bit before we end this.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for turning out to this important event in our community. My name is Sandy Berlin. My Indian name, one of them is Eagle Plume Woman. I've been a part of this community for over 30 years. I'm going to try not to cry. I've raised my children in this community. I have my grandchildren, and now I'm proud to say I'm also a great-grandmother of 2 beautiful children. And 2 of my granddaughters are here. Zebediah, a lot of you know Zeb. He's a leader in the Native community. I just have to say I've done a lot of work, different types of work. I've worked in the Justice Circle. When we had a riot over in Moorhead, I was co-convener for that. We had a civil rights report that was released in 1999. So I got to meet a lot of good people in the community. I guess one of my dreams too was to bring it over here to Fargo since I've lived here for so long. Probably next to my family, to my children, and this big family that I have, the work that I've done that really I hold close to my heart. I've worked with the justice system, and I also worked for, I don't even know how many years, but with the homeless community in Fargo Moorhead. I've known many of the people that slept out in this park, those that lived and died under the bridges. And that's not done today. I drove this morning and I wanted to stop as there was 2 Native American men walking down the road, and they were hot and they were tired, and my guess they didn't have a place to go. So it really is heartwarming to see the community come together like this. In the Native community, somebody told me long ago, one of the elders, she told me, Sandy, don't get political. Fortunately, I have faith. I'm grounded in my faith, and I pass that on to people in the community. And one of the sad things, I think, is that right now, once again, we're without a sweat lodge. That was closed. That's something that we need. You look at the medicine wheel, the things that we need, that we have been taught and lived by, the medicine wheel, it's red, yellow, black, and white. And we use that as we heal, as the programs that I put together within the Native community was mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual. Right now, as a Native community, we don't have a place to go. We don't have our sweat lodge. Fortunately, we've been, I guess that's how we have existed throughout the years, when our sweat lodges were outlawed and not legal until 1978. So in the books it's been legal, but the mentality has not changed. You know, and I watch what's going on now across the country and what happened with George Floyd, it just broke my heart. I couldn't believe, you know, what was going on. But then again, I reflected looking back at some of the people that I've helped in this community. You know, I've witnessed many injustices, not only to the Native community, but to other people out in the community. People that I work with, I see people making comments or making faces at them. And it's just, you know, I've seen people do that to a little boy. You know, it's like, why are you doing that? All lives matter. Black lives matter. So I just want to say thank you, and I, you know, just pray that we can keep coming together, come and talk about these things. We need to make changes, that we have judges that will listen, police officers, attorneys available. You know, there's so many injustices out there, so we need to look at the systemic change, you know, in all of this area. So I thank you, and I'm so thankful that we have a strong Native American community. Even though we don't have a place to go, we come together in our faith, and we will continue. I just wanted to let people know that AIM, the American Indian Movement, they're just celebrated 50 years. 50 years. Miigwech, Pidamia.
I want to say thank you to everybody.
Wes, where are you? Wes and Jamal? Thank you, everyone. So we know music speaks to our heart. So we're going to join together as a community. And I have some wonderful ladies here that's going to lead us in a great song that's going to bring all of us together. Yeah, go ahead.
Before the song before we sing the song, and let everybody know, thank you guys for coming. Thank you guys for participating. Thank you guys for allowing us to have such a difficult conversation and acknowledging that we have a problem, and the only way to work through the problem is having the conversation and acknowledging the conversation, acknowledging the problem, but working towards a solution. I also want to let you guys know that there are some powerful black businesses in the area that the stimulus check did not extend to. And I want you guys to visit these black businesses here in the area. We have the Spice Grill that is in Moorhead. It is an African business. They sell African food, gourmet, and it's next to the Moorhead Mall. We also have Antoinette Hair Shop. She sells hair, she fixes hair. Please make sure you visit her hair shop in this time. We also have Sata Hair Shop that is next to the motor vehicle registration place. Please make sure you visit there as well. We have Club Africa. If you want to change your taste bud to the type of music, please make sure you visit that place as well. We have great business owner and entrepreneurs that are black owned. If you know any more, share it with your neighbor. We also have a Facebook page, ND for Change. And we ask that you guys, ND stand for change, and we ask that you guys please go on the Facebook page. Please like it and share it. This is not the last event. Our goal is to have this event once a year to remind each and every one of us about the milestone in which we have taken today.
And I just want to say, again, there are people in this community that would hate to see us succeed. They're looking forward to finding something to silence our voice today. So as you guys leave here, please be vigilant, and the people around you, man, please just get home safe If you see anybody trying to do anything or start something, man, please don't just lay there or stay there, man. Speak up, because please keep in mind, man, whether it's a white person or a black person that does the damage, it doesn't matter. It's going to be the black community that's going to bear the burden of that. So, man, please, if you love your black and brown people, man, stand up for us. Like, y'all have to stand up for us, man. And it starts by portraying us in a better light, man, and not allowing the media to take false narratives and terrible stories and just running with them. So please, man, if you see someone trying to start something, like, we are not against Fargo PD. We're like meeting with these people constantly. You know, we're spending time with them. We planned with them today. Like, I have a cop assigned to me that if something starts right now, I'm gonna be in a patrol car and out of here. That's how close we are with them, man. We do not, my brother is a commander in a police department in Miami. So to hate the cops would mean I would hate my brother and I would hate my blood. And I cannot do that, all right? Because they are people too. They are people too, man. And it's just that, again, the burden is on the people to bear the burden of doing the work. But if that's what we got to do to see a better America, then that's just what we're going to have to do. But please, just stay friendly, keep your eyes open, and let's get everybody home safe. And the media will not have a choice but to say, yo, the people came together, they celebrated, it was amazing, and they went home. Yo, and I hope, I'll be watching and I'll be reading. I hope y'all tell that story as well as y'all tell the story about rioters and looters. I already know that the online engagement is not going to be the same, but I at least hope that y'all can tell a story that something beautiful happened here today. Not just in North Dakota, but in the entire damn universe, yo. This was amazing. This was amazing, man. This the energy that we need, not only to change Fargo, but to change the entire world.
And once again, I ask that everyone, we need to hold these businesses accountable that have not spoke out against the injustice that has been happening. Businesses like Bethany, Integrity Window, we want to know what you guys think about Black Lives Matter right now. We live in a community and you contribute to this. So your silence is basically telling us where you stand. So we have to hold these businesses accountable. So I urge each and every one of you guys to call them and ask them, where do they stand? With all the Black and African employees at their job, where do they stand? It's about time people make a choice. You're either for equality or you're against equality.
There's a lot of people that contributed and donated today towards this event. I can't name every single one of you, but I want to say thank you. If you donated, if you sent in money, if you bought stuff, if you sent us some things, thank you so much. We really appreciate you. And we want to continue. And we're going to all come together as one. And I'm for sure you're going to know what the song is.
So, yeah, we want all of you to join in. You'll know. But the song is Lean on Me. It's perfect, right? Yeah! Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain. We all have sorrow. But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on.
So just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me. Woo! When you're not strong.
Woo, we got off there.
I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. So just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem and you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean.
I want to hear all of your voices.
Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Black Lives Matter.
Yes, Black Lives Matter, and don't forget it. Spread the love and the word. You hear?
Black Lives Black lives! Black lives! Black lives! Say his name! Say his name! Say his name! Black lives! Black lives! Black lives! Thank you all so much for coming. We're leaving now.
Thank you so much for coming. I ask that everybody go to their vehicle safe. This is the end of the program. Like I said, we must do this every single year in remembrance. So please, I look forward to all the changes that this year will bring for us to celebrate it next year. Go to your vehicle safe. We are not gonna lay around and anything. We're done. We got people who is against us, and they're lurking around. We are not going to change the narrative. Have a great day, guys. Thank you for coming.